Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie. He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.
Alright, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Ooh, there go my ears. Probably there go yours as well. See ya, boys and girls and days. How's that? How's that music to voice ratio? I actually thought I sorted it before the stream for once, but evidently I did not. Hello, H1CT, Asaki XBT, Aldi Crew1, butchered your name, Camera, Soundgarden99, Marcelo 695, Bias Frog 1, Trader Alex 88, Simple Riches, hello, hello, Ed Fiasco, that's probably how you say your name, Donny, bonjour, my friend, Camera, let's go. So how's everyone doing? Are we all winning? We all crushing these markets? We're having fun on chain, making millions out of $100? Like everyone else on CT? Feels like eating spaghetti? Perfect. Excellent. Between feels like eating spaghetti, you feel like you want to eat some spaghetti? Is this making you hungry? We can flick it to a chart if you like. Just to make you less hungry. Bonjour, Big Magus. Addicted to on-chain revenue sharing silliness. Yeah, so am I. It's like an accountant's wet dream. Like, I spent years doing discounted cash flow models and being like, oh, it's gonna take X amount to repay the investment over Y period. The net present value is this, based on... Oh, Magus has subscribed. Thank you very much. I will enjoy those shekels. Although all I've eaten today is a very small salad in calorie deficit mode. It will not be on pizza or beer or anything like that. We are going to do it, my friends. We are going to do the weight loss challenge. A stone is going to be gone in 2 months. No one chained for me as I'm a Bitcoin boomer? Caught the moves, all good. Nice. Nice work, my friend. Let's send Mac to 0, let's go. Hello, Martin Norby, my friend. Operation Greek God underway. Yeah, Geek Bod to Greek God. Let's go. Hello, TLHKO Bold. I'm not sure how you say your name. When the bear market is called Weight Loss Challenge. Yeah, it actually is. It's probably like there's pretty low volatility. It's summer. Let's lose some weight. Karaoke instead of charting. None of you want that, I can assure you. I actually am in the Shred with Cred Discord. Yeah, I'm kind of fasting today. I've literally had some leaves for lunch. A few beans, obviously, because I'm English. I have to have some beans. But anyway, how are we all doing? Is everyone bullish, bearish? That's it, it's over. Straight to 0. Let's talk about BTC, shall we? Sales average buy. Classic. Do I actually have any lines marked up? I think I've deleted pretty much everything. The intro was fire. Yeah, that wasn't me singing, mate. That's why. So actually we are so back. I mean, I think I've said this pretty much kind of every stream. There's opportunity in the market, but it's not what I would consider like a full bull run. You know, I talked a lot. It was no magazine intro, but it'll do. I think you should write the caption BTC to 100k. Yeah, that is true. Hey, Joel Cruz, DJ. I bought loads of shitcoins, mate. That would be a whole hour of talking about debauchery. But I try and only share the ones that I've got like reasonable conviction in. Because, you know, I've ate plenty of shit that's gone to 0. Thoughts on BNB? We'll get to BNB. But I mean, I'm sure you've all seen charts of BNB flying across Twitter with the Doomer narrative attached to it. You probably don't need me to reiterate that. But yeah, I probably should do the caption Bitcoin to 100k, or we're going to talk about the next SHIB on chain. And do that. Everyone going live. Halfway through VOD and Magus. Yeah, me and Magus have really bizarrely timed it. Almost in the same way. I think it's because, like, for me personally, I tend to do weekends off and try and step away from the trading desk and away from the markets, although that never really works. I'm kind of addicted to my phone and the drama and the actual moves of the market, obviously. So Monday is kind of, or Sunday, Monday is recording an outlook for the week and setting up my plans for the week. What do I want to do? How am I going to trade it? Posting that in the group. And then Tuesday is kind of public stream. And then Thursday is kind of a bit of a post-week review plus Friday's trading thoughts and sort of heading into the weekend in the group. So it's kind of like a split week, if you like. I know Magus streams on Friday, so basically there's kind of something every day at minimum. And I've been working on it. I keep adding to my my low cap vid that I'm recording, and it's now probably going to be about 6 hours long. I'm not even doing bite-sized chunks. This is massive. Did I get suntanned or tomato? No, I basically don't tan. My like very white pale skin is obviously just doesn't do anything. Just like a vampire, basically. It was a sign of wealth back in Victorian times. But no, I don't really tan. I don't really burn either, because I whack the factor 50 on like it's going out of fashion. But anyway, should we talk about some markets? Should we talk about some pale cope? It does sound like pale cope, to be fair. I don't mind. Keeps me looking young. Right, Bitcoin. I don't really know what there is to say, to be honest. It's just so uninteresting for me. You know, we have tagged that kind of 25k high time frame pivotal level. We've basically rejected off this high time frame pivot, and yeah, we're just range bound kind of until proven otherwise. Like my lower time frame thesis is just fucking like literally something like that. Like what I wanted to see was a strong reaction off this, And if you go proper low time frame, let's actually go. It was reasonable initially, and then just absolutely bled out, and now we are just ranging and not much. I mean, summer, low volatility, all that kind of crap, wonderful. But directionally, I don't have any form of like massive clear bias or clear conviction. And whilst there is no obvious, I would say, sex narrative going on in terms of altcoins and rotations, there are some outliers and plays. I mean, people who've been paying attention, like Rune, which we'll come on to, has been pretty good. Let me just change that. With BTC, I'm not massively like either way bullish or bearish. If you started using some simple trend indicators, like that one's not publicly available. Which one is? That one is. Just some EMA crosses that give you some form of momentum visibility, you would start saying, well, actually, this is pretty bearish. But given the fact that we are currently holding 25k, it's kind of too late for me to short without fading something that looks like this. A really inefficient move up and a sweep. Like, I can't just short lows unless I'm being super aggressive, and I just don't think this is the market to be doing that in. But that's my personal view. I think we're more likely to range than anything at this point in time. Like, I think that was the move. Bitcoin tends to do very little for quite a while and then just puts in one of these days. So if you caught the short side of that, absolutely well played. Lovely. I was sat in a nice near short just before I left for holiday last week, and then I closed it literally there it is. Like, I literally closed it like as I left on Sunday or whenever it was. So I closed it for a little loss, and obviously just sold off to Africa. But sometimes it's going to be like that, right? So really, like, I can't trade this. I'm trading rotations at the moment just on like Rune and stuff, but really, it's just difficult. Any thoughts on DXY? Yeah, we'll get that. Yeah, also pretty, like, not great across the board. Let's just load something else. The thing for me is I want to see some form of divergences. I want to see some momentum divs. I want to see something that's actually showing some form of strength or weakness. If it's going up and diverging off, that's fucking terrible. Diverging up here in terms of the move and diverging on momentum indicators, that's kind of what I want to see, right? I want to see that around levels to get short, to give me an invalidation. I don't need to full size here. I can add on the way down, etc., etc. But yeah, really, I just haven't got like any majorly strong conviction plays either, outside of like little low caps, which I'm just, I'm not betting the house on. I'm not sat here yeeting 7 figures into some on-chain shitcoin. And if I did, you'd fucking see it. So yeah, you can't do that with liquid dog shit. But the point being that I think there is a pretty decent amount of on-chain opportunity, and I think generally just the premise of being early to some of them, with very low market cap, pretty reasonable propositions. They can run quite fast, and you can get your initial out quite quickly. But let's stick off low caps for a second. Like, for me, there's really not been too much. Like, we had actually, let's go dollar. Because someone asked about it, and it probably does fit into a kind of higher time frame thought process around Bitcoin, TradFi, dollar, the general consensus. I actually posted this chart just blind, so just this bit here, and I said, what would you do here if this was your favorite shitcoin? And the answer is you'd probably long it, right? And that's what the dollar's just done, just gone up pretty consistently. You've got these lows, pretty consistent lows, a deviation, in the words of SE, and actually a trip to go into the range high here at 104.5-ish, draw it however you like, maybe a little bit higher. It's just been up only. Nasdaq pulled back. I think we went over that we went over S&P, we went over these divergences last time, and nice pullback. I don't think I'm in the boat of, well, I'm not in the boat of saying, right, this is it. We're gonna start going to these lows, etc., etc. I think this is a healthy pullback. I think we are more likely to form a distributive range up here, or just continue that trend. I think of those three outcomes, which is the most likely, number one leading into number two is probably my gut feeling, and that is fine. Like I haven't got any trades to action here, and I don't trade S&P anyway. But when you're starting to paint a picture of what's the context and the environment that you're operating in, you're operating in a strong dollar with weak alt rotations to the upside generally. There was one very good one on there was a couple of good ones actually on things like BLZ, which was absolute cartel pump. Obviously I missed all this, so I'm kind of hindsight LARPing on that. On the basis of I was on holiday. There was BLZ, which wonderful pump, etc. There was Rune, nice move on Rune. Sorry, this is a bit slow because TradingView is not great. Rune's had a couple of good rotations in particular, and it's reasonably liquid, and it's got a lot of products coming out, and there's a lot of people talking about it. And it's had quite strong rotations both up and down, and we'll talk about Rune a bit more in a sec. There's no majorly hot narratives from what I can see. There's a few on-chain bits and pieces. Again, it's not an environment where it's like there's a very strong in-play coin like LDO, for example, at the start of the year, which I always go back to. That was absolutely ridiculous when you look back at it, and it's kind of what I say to my wife, is that there are times to trade, and there are times to kind of not do as much, especially if you're long focused like me. And like that was, absolutely godlike, those trading conditions. For me, anyway. Let's see some comments. 15 min, 4 hour daily one div setup. It can be kind of any of those things. So it's a mixture, for me, of levels, divergences, and extremes, just around like even low time frame price action. Like you would have seen me talk about this a lot, like kind of parabolic curve. In fact, talk about it on SHIB. SHIB's a good example. You saw people do. In fact, SHIB is the perfect example because you've basically got this parabola, which people kind of mock, and you can. The downside of parabolas is it's completely open to interpretation, right? So like, is that it? If I draw it like that, is that it? If I draw it like that, is that it? Like where is it? Like it's just more of a visual representation, and all it really is an aggressive market structure kind of acceleration in terms of the returns that you're getting between the higher highs, and essentially when this gets broken and when you start moving down and you do that and then you push up again and you fail to sweep this high, that's a huge sign of momentum decline. It gives me massive confidence to get on board on the short side with reasonable size. And the reason that I say that is because if you size in on stuff like this, like in my experience, you tend to get a very strong move up, a little pullback, and then a bit of consolidation, and then literally another leg up. The classic like giraffe setup. So taking the short side on something like this while it's really in play after a strong illiquid move is pretty difficult for me personally. I would rather do it on something like this that is clearly lost some of its momentum and had another attempt at moving higher and been rejected. So that's kind of my thoughts process around that. In terms of like trades, so talked about Rune a little bit, but you've got some nice divergences here, and yeah, I'm currently sat in a Rune long, which is probably going to go underwater on this stream. It's not big because I'm streaming and I don't want to try and like micromanage it, so it's not particularly, it's not going to make or break my bank if I lose or win on it. So these have been pretty reasonable in terms of just higher time frame divergences and then lower time frame price action just to hop in. That's kind of it. And beta as well. So if you've got the combination of a high beta alt, that you are in a long position on with a decent invalidation, and you just want to be riding that for as long as you can. But you know, I'm in the realms of trying to get a couple of percent out. I'm not trying to play these for 10, 15, 20% rotations. If it happens and I manage to capture the whole thing, great. But I'm unlikely to capture the whole thing given my current view of risk. Does that make sense? What the fuck's going on with room bonding? That's a Magus question, that is. You got a cook? Nice, Grant Stevenson, and hello my friend. You'll be proud of me. Done some exercise today and I've only eaten literally some leaves. So what is going on with rune bonding? Yes, interesting. Should I just give the pleb answer if we're gonna short squeeze straight to infinity because I'm sat in a long position? Should we give that one? That's obviously what's gonna happen. Or I'll just trigger Magus and see if she's still in the chat. We'll get on the Peloton before bed. Sheesh. I don't know how you can exercise before bed, man. It just wires me. There's just no way I could do exercise and then just like, even like half an hour break. Go to sleep afterwards. If it's a primer on funding, it's not really my bag. You're much better off speaking to Magus about that. I think the thing that conceptually bothers me about funding and trying to use funding is that you're essentially, what a lot of people try and do is use it to work out net positioning, and that's just like, you can't really do that generally, or I can't do it anyway. You can see if big shorts were opened on like low time frame, like the 1 minute chart, but yeah, trying to do anything like on higher time frame with funding levels, not trying to just play funding and capture funding and do all that kind of wonderful stuff. I just don't see the point of it particularly. I like the notion of when you can see a lot of open interest and you can see huge negative funding and you can see various indicators that would suggest that a short squeeze is imminent, i.e. price has basically done this forever and a day, and as soon as it starts moving up, everything starts getting liquidated. I mean, that's kind of like we've had quite a few of these. I think Gala was one of them, just basically free ride the shorts and then just use them as fuel to just do that. And a lot of altcoin charts probably look something like this, but this period might be a bit longer, right? Yeah, if you want a funding tutorial, Magus has got a good one on his YouTube, I believe. But using it to execute trades, I don't know, it's not my bag. Sir, when Hikari shill. They don't have any documents available about revenue accrual. They don't have anything about how their token is going to be burnt or used, or yeah, so this is what I mean. It's like, I'm happy to speculate on things and I'm happy to talk about low caps and stuff and go there, because to be blunt, I just don't give a fuck anymore. Like, it's my Twitter, I'll talk about what I like. Do you know what I mean? Like, if people are fucking stupid, putting their life savings in stuff, like, I think I'm pretty reasonable and objective about things. I try and be level-headed. I never tweet, this is the future of finance, this is going to $1 billion, let's go, type thing. Get your net worth in there before you're left behind, all that kind of bullshit. I'd like to think I put out pretty reasonable arguments about things, and I'm wrong reasonable amounts of time as well. And when I am wrong, I'll admit it. I don't care. Like, it's trading. It's investing. You're going to get a lot wrong, and if you don't like being wrong, this path just isn't for you. I'd obviously rather be right more than I'm wrong. But even if you are wrong more than you are right, you can still make money. The classic. Trader SC is currently short on Rune. I know. So hashtag liquidate SC, get it trending. Straight to $10. Straight to, actually no, could we go to $20? That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, SC's a fantastic trader, like, and you know, you can actually see, even if you just do, again, we'll just do very simple MAs, we go a little bit higher time frame. It's actually not particularly bearish. Apologies. Show one EMA. Prefer that. Maybe not. Kind of lost the EMA. But every time we've done it before, we've kind of held it on just a 4-hour. 34 EMA. I mean, you can get an EMA to see whatever the fuck you like, right? Just flick time frames to fit your bias. The classic EMA trade-or. But you know, there's kind of no denying that there's a reasonable divergence down here on the 30-minute, and there was a strong reaction from it. So now we are kind of retracing that. But Rune has been one of the higher beta alts. It's been, you know, reasonably good. It's been up here, so we just kind of assume that it's going to continue and give us a nice rotation until it doesn't. So we take a loss and we move on. XO indicator is private? No, it's not. Just search for it on TradingView. That's why I wasn't going through all these, because these ones are all part of the Paragon group. So I was actually being nice. I wasn't chilling. Check it. Bitcoin ticker. Let's go. Good evening, Kaz. Bitcoin, do you reckon we will touch 20k or reverse from 22 to 23? I see all these kind of things is like, I don't know. I don't have a fucking clue. The only thing that I can control is what I am going to do if something happens. So I don't care. I don't get any money for saying, oh, it's going to touch 22. And maybe I would do if I was in a short from up here and that was my target, and that was my target based on X, Y, and Z. But usually I've planned it all beforehand. So, you know, I'm short from Sailor's Buy because it's the best entry you're going to get because he fucks it up constantly. Yeah, you know, 23. No, I mean, I'd be looking at 25 and the reaction from 25. So actually kind of where we talked about before. So technically still would be in it. And the reason is it's just this level. This level that I've talked about an absolute ton, and that everyone has talked about. I could teach my 7-year-old daughter to draw that line. I mean, and just say that's where you're looking for a reaction. Like, let's say, so what was your question? It was, do you reckon we will touch 20k or reverse from 22 to 23? So one, you're assuming that we're going to get here. You're basically saying we're going to get there. And you're also saying, well, if we don't get there, so if we get there, there's a good chance that we get there. I mean, I think if we got down to here, I don't know why we wouldn't at least sort of sweep this and go for essentially all this down here. I think if you start looking at this from a higher time frame perspective, and we come back into this range here, then yeah, you know, the chances from here, the chances of going to range lows are pretty goddamn high, and it would probably chop around this for a little bit. Then I imagine just do something like that. There's a lot of squiggles, but the real question is, where the fuck do I want to take a trade? Do I want to short here? Absolutely not. No, I don't. Do I want a long here? Absolutely not. No, I don't. So I'm just sitting on my hands with regards to Bitcoin. Yeah, that's my kind of, would I blind buy here? No, I wouldn't. I would need to see some form of divergence. I would need to see some form of strength, or just a simple reclaim. Maybe I buy some here. Right? So I've given a bit of a different answer to your question. I don't know where Bitcoin goes. I don't know if it's going to go to 100k. I do have some Bitcoin, but like they're kind of long-term storage type. Just ignore them, and just if it goes to 100k, 250k, that's probably where we're looking at starting to exit. So that's my only like arbitrary price levels. It's just a hedge against essentially all the money I've got in like pensions and property and all that kind of stuff. Like if that all goes basically sideways or down the shitter, actually there's probably a real logical argument still for Bitcoin over the coming years with like, I'm sure ETF gets approved at some point, etc. And when that does, that's probably not priced into the market. And actually, we do see it kind of giga-send, so I always want some form of exposure. But it's not actively managed and it's not actively traded. So, yeah, I've waffled there, haven't I? But, there we go. It's quite possible. You promised to come, so you did. Thank you, Nikatos of the Wild. So yeah, it's more of what do you want to see, and that's kind of what I try and do every week in my outlooks, is just say this is what I want to see, this is what would make me take a position. And sometimes I see it in the context of the wider market and don't like it. Sometimes I take other trades that I haven't planned for, particularly around spaghetti. So when you see something like this as an example, like, okay, that's fucking my time frame, let's get off my time frame. When you see something like this, for example, on CRV, you probably go, right, well, maybe I want to jump to the CRV chart, given that it's actually reasonably in play and actually quite high beta. But obviously it's got a bit of a backstory. I haven't actually looked at the CRV chart. Just tried to ignore it, to be honest with you. CRV, I know I was trading it a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we're trading this. Trading that there. Long that. Woo! And now. Oh. What a drawdown. Equally. Lecture on parabolas coming right up. Not particularly clean, but I'll probably have a peek at Coinalize and see what's going on under the hood a little bit. But that kind of accelerated move to the downside usually creates a pretty strong move up, even if it's not a full trend reversal. You're fighting a pretty strong trend in these scenarios, so they're kind of usually just a quick in and out, try and trend follow it up, and then as soon as you get a bit of shitty market structure or even any form of consolidation, I'd usually just move my stop up and just be quite aggressive with profit taking on stuff like this. It's in a pretty fucking brutal downtrend. So nothing more than a rotational play type thing. They're the trades I'm looking out for at the moment, is anything like that's really outside of this on spaghetti. And this tells you another thing as well. This should tell you, like, this is obviously a very filtered version. And it's a little bit out of date because, like I said, I haven't really been, I wasn't about last week. I've been using this, but you will be able to see on here just oddities that come out. Sui being an example, absolutely terrible in terms of performance in that rotation there, and then just starts cutting through everything else and just going absolutely out of line with the rest of the market, which led to, you know, a pretty reasonable move up here. So even if you noticed it kind of just crossing like the kind of midpoint of this, like the actual BTC performance, like that's quite a, you know, just looking at it visually, there's this, which I think is probably Tomo, because Tomo's always a bit of a, yeah, Tomo's always a bit of a bitch in terms of just moving outside the entire market, right? It does what the fuck it wants. But yeah, you could have caught some of that. I did not, but that's the kind of trade that I'm looking for. That's the kind of let's see if we can actually get anything from this move. It's just not huge amounts. I don't particularly want to trade Tomo. I don't particularly want to trade CRV. But yeah, there's kind of nothing particularly outlandish about this. That ARPA's fucking liquid dog shit. No, maybe not. Maybe not a decent example. Did I draw the red arrows pointing to OP the other day? Which one? On this one? Probably. This is the thing, is TradingView needs to because this, it removes your drawings, but it removes all your lines and stuff. So there should just be like a remove paintbrush option. Like, I fucking begged them for it, and they just haven't done it. It's such, I imagine it's such a simple mod. You know, there is literally an object called brush. Delete all where object type equals brush. Like, fucking come on. We just all at TradingView, please, and get them to do it. Make my life a lot easier. And because I like doodling, I think it helps visualize, you know, the point. So yeah, we've been through Rune. Kind of explain my thought process here, and yeah, like momentum divs working pretty nicely, even if they're a little bit janky. What else are we going for? SHIB. We talked about SHIB a little bit in terms of that whole parabolic move, fading, and you know, I'm not looking to play any more SHIB because I think it's just done. That whole Shibarium stuff and Facade was absolute nightmare. I know some people made some nice gains off shorting it. Where are we at? There was Doge as well. Doge was kind of similar in terms of parabolic move. I had that nice parabola. As soon as you lose it, that's it. Game over, and then just fucking sells off. BNB. Someone asked to talk about BNB. You know, BNB high time frame looks like utter dog shit, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Like 3-day chart. Doesn't kind of matter where you put this line. I mean, technically it does, but it's not looking good, Brev. Do I want to short this? Nah, absolutely not. Now everyone's going to doom a cycle it and be like, oh, it's going back to down here. I don't know. I think if we start seeing these kind of prices again, obviously not zero, but if we start seeing like $40 on BNB, like, it's going to be a true bear market in my opinion. And the reason I don't think it's like a true bear market now, I mean, maybe it's because I've got a few more followers than I had in 2018-19, but everyone's still got that hope, that optimism, that they're talking about the next cycle, we're all going to make it, our Friends Tech's going to be amazing. We'll come on to Friends Tech a little bit. Everyone's still got that almost entitlement that there is going to be another cycle, and that they are going to make it, and it is going to be easy. Do you know what I mean? Like, so something like this, from a higher time frame perspective, and my selfish perspective of wanting to invest, you know, and put reasonable amounts of my net worth back into crypto, is, you know, super attractive to me. I don't think it will ever go that low, BNB, but I mean, maybe on a wick, right? Maybe on a huge like liquidation cascade and big wick, but really that tends to happen like at the highs, when everyone's just like, well, it's the future of finance, let's long it and watch it send to infinity, as opposed to at the lows where actually, you know, I haven't looked, but I presume there's hardly anything here compared to what there was way back here. because we're screwed. I mean, I think the thing is, yeah, amazing buy opportunity, and that's the mindset of, you know, a lot of people want to make it tomorrow, and I don't know. There are probably some people that come out and, you know, start in the market with $1,000, $10,000. I don't know, like a not life-changing amount for most people, right? It might be life-changing for you, but yeah, everything is relative, right? So if you started out with 10 grand and you came out with 10 million, you've done a fucking incredible job, well done. But most people kind of expect that to happen overnight, or they have the gambler's fallacy of, I'm going to put this in this shitcoin is going to be the one. It turns out not to be the one, and you've now got to wait a year, 2 years, 3 years before you can get that capital back and, you know, go again. And during that time, you've missed like ample opportunities in the market to just slowly compound gains, or just slowly build exposure. I made that mistake, lost 15k already, but I ain't quitting, learn from it. Ah, that's good. I mean, you know, I don't know how much 15k is to you, whether it's a huge amount or whether it's an insignificant amount. And that's the thing, is if you're earning 15 grand a year, then fucking hell, that's a huge amount of money. If you're earning 150 grand a year, meh, you can probably cope. I always try and think of things as like, how much time does this buy me? Given I need £1,000 a month to live, let's say, if I make this trade and if I invest this, or if I lose this, how much time have I lost? I find that way of thinking a lot easier. It's 2 years of your work, you're living hungry. Jesus, man. Is that through investing or trading or both? It doesn't affect you at all. You need to make it both. I mean, there is the fundamental concept in the market that not everyone can make it, and people don't like talking about it, right? Like, I don't actually want to see anybody lose, but I know at some point I'm taking money off people. You know, if my trades are working out, chances are someone else's across the world isn't. So that is the kind of very nature of the sport that we play. But yeah, I think as long as you've got a plan, as long as you are managing your risk, and as long as you are happy with the risk that you are taking, you know, that's entirely up to you. Some people are exceptionally lucky. They take one very high risk play and turn 5 grand into 500k, and there you go. There's your starting capital. You know, take 200 out, job done. 300 left to play with. Happy days. This is the wrong people learning from the shilling, but I found the guys who are actually worth listening to and learning a lot. Oh, that's good. I mean, you're here, so I'm going to assume that you don't think I'm just blindly shilling shit, which is good. You do have to make up your own opinions on things, though. It's probably the biggest piece of advice. Bet on yourself when you think you're right. And that is advice. It's not financial advice, but it is advice nonetheless. You know, it's your money at the end of the day, and no one gives a fuck about your money as much as you do, to be brutally honest. You know, you have to be comfortable with what you are investing in and why you're investing in it, and whether you're happy or not to be wrong. Now, I am happy to be wrong on everything I've got money in. Absolutely everything. If it all goes to zero, I'm going to be absolutely fine, right? And I'll probably be a little bit annoyed for a day or two, just because, you know, it would be a market-wide nuke, but hopefully I would be able to trade that on low time frames and just scalp some rotations, and, you know, not compensate for it, but at least it would be a volatile and interesting day to trade. But yeah, document your thoughts, have a business plan type thing, because it is a business. You learn the most from your own mistakes. Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah, it is. Someone can tell you lots of things. I think it's really good to learn thought processes and frameworks from other people, so other people can have their ideas and you can understand their ideas and digest it. But then as long as you're reflecting on that and building up your own thesis for trades and your own system for entering and exiting trades, and when you want to risk on, when you want to risk off, and how you're managing risk generally, I think as long as you are doing that and you are saying this is, you know, I've just seen my favorite influencer on Twitter go long, you know, I'm long Rune, and SC, who's an absolutely fantastic trader, and you know, it's literally printing millions out of the market. Like, he is short. Am I going to close my position? No, absolutely not. Couldn't give a fuck. There will be days where I take his money. There will be days where he takes mine. So, you know, and I'm not on the same time frame as he is, as an example. You know, I'm literally low time frame, just trying to play for a bit of strength and a rotation. Probably take some profits around here if we get there. You know, he's looking for, you know, shorting to much like lower levels, right? Absolutely fine. We can take different sides of trades and carry on. Yeah, I probably butchered that point, or at least laboured it to an extreme. I think I spoke to you guys about Mask before, and this was one of my my most ridiculous trade thesis of 2023. Just get the year that we're in. You know, and I genuinely thought it was going to do something like that because of essentially Twitter acquisition, because of what Mask does, and obviously took the L on that after that sell-off. I did not. I could lie and say I closed it all, but no, I did not. I did not close this position. I left it open and was a wonderful contributor to this. OP, yes, I did do some wonderful red arrows on OP, but OP's actually been another reasonably decent one. Started the week looking for this, just a little rotation on OP, because I'll go through the logic because it's hindsight, but it was essentially OP, one of the strongest alts. Didn't have that at the time. It was 5 minutes. Was just this kind of strength and strength here, equal lows, and starting to move up, and just anticipate a breakout of essentially a pretty pivotal level. And it was one of the fastest recovering altcoin charts out there. Like, that's kind of what you want to see, in my opinion. After dips like that, you know, it was a really strong rally. It actually like completely engulfed that candle and just, you know, retraced the entire thing, a little bit of a pullback, and then reclaimed a key pivotal level. So that's a real good sign of strength, and that's exactly what you want to see, the kind of you know, strong ass moves, as opposed to Bitcoin, which just did that and then kind of did that and then just that. Let's go over a couple of what would be nice to see type scenarios, because we've got some of those. So Pepe has been pretty shit, right? But if the market gets redacted again, which I'm not saying it will, this is me planning what I would like to see. I would literally like to see a little low time frame rotation. Actually, I'd see us pull back a little bit and then gain some strength and reclaim this. If I could play this on low time frame because it pops up as high beta, then I would. Particularly if we sweep this low. Right, so I drew that a bit badly, but sweep this low and then play this and then play it for a reclaim and actually play it more of a swing position or an intraday to swing, right? So I'm allowed to do that where it's kind of predefined and where we've got some higher time frame levels to work around. So if we're reclaiming and I actually want to size up, I can actually compound that trade if I want to. So something like that. Not to the highs necessarily, but certainly to here. So it would kind of look like trade 1 would be low time frame rotation. Sorry. Like quick entry based on spaghetti, based on low time frame market structure, based off liquidations, and actually like a strong sell-off, and actually just trying to catch that move up. So it wouldn't necessarily be full size, but that would kind of give me an initial entry, and we'd see how that plays out. And then if we can reclaim this level on Pepe, then we start building a slightly bigger position with stops under here, and try and catch that next leg up. But that's what I mean when we were talking before about is it going to go to 22k? Is it going to go to 28k? Is it going to go to 50k? Fuck knows. All I care about is what do I want to see, and if it does that, great. And then I'd probably look to play the other side of it up here, depending on how the rest of the market was, right? Because if this was a huge risk-on move, i.e. ETF approval, then that changes like in an instant the entire market dynamic. So yeah, that would be incredibly bullish in my opinion. But as one example of not to get too wedded to the news, everyone remember this? It's wonderful XRP day. I mean, it was absolutely fucking incredible, please don't get me wrong, but absolutely retraced that entire move. So that whole message of this is a take profit environment, it still rings true in my mind. I don't think it's the environment to swing trade altcoins particularly. So I do swing trade sometimes, but I haven't been doing it as much recently, and that's twofold really. It's a combination of my risk appetite and the environment and context of the market. So my risk appetite is pretty low at the moment. I would rather put, say, X amount in an altcoin and go, that's going to go to zero. And then I've kind of thrown that out. It's either a boomerang or a stick. It's going to just fuck off into the ether, or it's going to come back and it's going to be 10 times the size. And I quite like just having the lower time frame risk managed trades that I don't worry about trades like over weekends or anything like that anymore. I don't give a shit, to be honest. Once you're in the position and once you've got your levels for take profit, I don't really care. On occasion, if I'm looking at something that's kind of up like this, and then it starts diverging across these highs, and actually there is a decision to be made. Do I hold out for the extra 0.5% based on actually would I short this? And if the answer is yes, why the fuck am I still in the long? Not necessarily flip short, but just forfeit that tiny bit. Because how many times have people had almost the perfect trade and then it just do this and stop you out? Obviously that's a fucking terrible RR trade, but the point and principle of you could have had basically all of it and then you ended up getting stopped, like just because you're a greedy fucker. But what I like is strong narratives, and there just hasn't been anything that's been super outlandish, or at least clear to me. So there probably has been, right? That's been on a centralized exchange. But yeah, for me, decentralized gambling is wonderful. Not talking about rollbit, I mean low caps. RLB, we can talk about RLB if you want. RLB. I basically sold there we go. Post it on Twitter for exit liquidity. Let's go. So we had a wonderful 4-hour divergence down here. Very clean into this. This kind of structure of previous all-time high kind of acts as support. And it did. Nice divergence. And 20%, bang. Up it goes. Now, pretty much fully retraced. In terms of RRB, like, it's one of those which I think it's had a really, really good run, and it has had a really strong, like, first mover advantage in the whole casino, gamble-fi type meta. Is it going to run to $1 and do all of that kind of wonderful stuff? I don't know. I think for me, you know, I exited like the rest of my position. Sorry, not this one. The original position. I exited the final bit around here, like 15.5, I think it was on average, or something like that. So it wasn't the top. It was nowhere near it. If I was going to LARP, I would be telling you it was up here. I literally, yeah, sold into this strength, and then obviously a day later, it was all up. It was all up like what, 33% ish, and then obviously a day after that, all down. Day 9. So you can kind of always beat yourself up about should have caught the top, should have done this, should have done that. But I was you know, multiples up from my entries. Like, so I made a decent whack of money. I shouldn't really be complaining about this little bit. It's just about perspective, right? But yeah, I think it still looks pretty reasonably. Still looks pretty reasonable. Just delete all this shit. Yeah. High time frame market structure still intact. If this is a higher low, this is a pretty strong sell-off. But you know, their founders just come back and all that kind of stuff after getting Twitter banned. It's still kind of support until it isn't. I'm not endorsed with RLB. I don't have any partnership with them or any kind of like stuff like that. But yeah, doesn't look horrific to me. Really funky chair. I know. Someone's snorting lines. It is literally, look, it's my chair. Like, see? Squeaky piece of shit. It's quite comfy though. That's the problem. I just need to buy one of those Aeron things, but my desk is quite high, and they don't go high enough. Right, so what else are we going to talk about? It's 8 o'clock. We've done an hour. BNB going to 0. Not. No, it's pretty horrific. But starting to slow down. I wouldn't be surprised just to see this kind of reclaim and then do something like this and then fucking just literally fuck everybody basically. But what steps do I actually want to take? So I want to take OP again, probably. I'll delete this. I just we've talked about that. I'd love to take something on OP. But can't really justify anything at the moment. There's nothing in terms of like rotational. Oh, there is. I don't know. Sorry. I was like, oh, thinking we were on the 1 minute chart, and we are not. That's what's irritating with this one. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah, not particularly great. So yeah, like I can't just jump in along with no low time frame, clear signals. Very janky div there, but not at an extreme. Wouldn't have taken that type of thing. So yeah, we just continue playing. The old rune. and see if that plays out from the odd 30-minute div. See what happens there. This is what I mean, like, I think there are times to be exceptionally active in the market, and there are times to just focus. I look at multiple kinds of spaghetti now. I normally just look at this one, but it's a bit slow when I'm on stream for some reason. And someone asked me about Friendstack. So I think Friendstack as an idea is absolutely incredible. I think the notion of buying into people's communities is amazing. But I think what they've done, and I know it's not their fault in terms of it was meant to be a closed beta that Kobe then leaked, and it then just went fucking viral, as it would do, because it's CT built, it's CT endorsed, and it's got some big CT people on it, myself included. It's just very early in the product life cycle, I think. But what the potential is, I think they did it all the wrong way around. Like the entire wrong, the whole. I know everyone's got their opinion and would have done it better. I actually proposed this similar project to a dev back in 2022 when BitClout went under, because they were onto a good idea, but what they did was tragic. And I think essentially revenue sharing model back to holders of community members integrated with something else would give you just the best possible outcome. And I'm not going to go into any more detail than that because I might actually just pay for someone to build it. Infinite money glitch. Not necessarily about that. It's actually more about, for me, it's like, how do you reward people appropriately? I'm also glad that they renamed shares to fucking keys. I posted about it the other day, and you know, it's just absolutely phenomenal how you can call it a share. Like, I just don't get it. I literally, why would you do that to yourself? Like, literally, you just pick fucking anything else. There you go. Here's a rant I did when it like literally first came out. But apparently, as usual, I joined very quickly, and I'm essentially punished for that because now there's a load of bots that like notify you in Twitter accounts with greater than 10k followers join. So people just like ape you hard and pump your bag basically. But because I got in there on like literally, I don't know, day 2 or 3 or something and went on a Spaces with Pancakes Brah, who's a legend, by the way. You know, shout out to him and the team, like it's genuinely incredible what they've done. I just think it's too early and not enough. Just another hyped up thing which I think will fade in my opinion. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't think there's unless you are an influencer, I don't think there's a good way to make money out of it right now unless you are sniping entries into, you know, bigger accounts and stuff. There are people who run up like 250k on them, but that's kind of the exception rather than the rule, and that's a very Mev kind of way of thinking about it. So it's probably not for, you know, Dave the plumber who's at work most of the day and comes home at night and then goes, right, well, I'm gonna jump on Friendstack and I'm gonna make some money. More someone who's sat there 24/7 and is literally getting instant signals or building a bot to buy based on certain criteria and can force it through and be the fast and fastest, great. Yeah, the fastest one there, and get, you know, entries for 0.0005 ETH, which is fuck it, right? If you can get anything for that on Friendstack, you know, with someone who's got 10,000 plus followers, you're probably going to make money on it. Just another hyped up thing which will fade. Yeah, no, I think the way that they've executed it, I think what will happen is, because you've got a 6-month window for the airdrop, I think it will massively fade out of favour. within that 6 months because they haven't got a product pipeline of developments to keep it in play for that period. The rate at which they can build and then deploy isn't going to be fast enough to keep the average attention span of most people on crypto Twitter. But ebbs and flows, and one of the reasons that I looked at RRB actually, the way that I did was that I hadn't seen anything about RRB in so long, and what you get is the entire fucking feed is talking about RRB here. The entire fucking feed is talking about RRB here. The entire fucking feed is talking about RRB here and here. Are you noticing any pattern? Like, it's not a huge factor in my trading assessment, right? But it does play on my risk and my take profit kind of targets, especially for things that are in like price discovery, right? And there's like no technical levels to play around. So if everyone is talking about it and it's the most crowded trade ever, to be long RRB, and oh Charlie, you're a fucking idiot because you sold here, rah rah rah. People are in my DM saying it's going to $1. Like, I don't care. I'm happy for you. Like, good for you. Like, why do you even give a shit about my personal position? Okay, you do you, type thing. When that kind of thing happens, you kind of think, well, I think everyone's thinking this is the next future of France, and they are not usually right. Everyone's talking about it, it's a good signal to sell. Yeah. Have I heard anything about the airdrop will work? Because you can't make any money trading this shit right now without a bot. Try and game the system for a better airdrop. No, I haven't. But I mean, the way that if I just log into it, it'd be very rude. The way that I believe it works, I could be very wrong, is it works on a combination of how many people you've invited, how many people have been trading your shares, and basically what revenue you've generated for them, which is kind of makes sense, right? Which is why Kobe got like a bajillion tokens or a bajillion points. So for reference, I think Toby got Toby? What the fuck is wrong with me? Kobe got like 1 million points, and I got 372. Despite the fact that people have actually reasonably been buying or selling my my shares, my ETH, my keys. Sorry, Minsky sold one Charlie key. Oh, and another one. Oh, 3 sales of my keys. Oof. How rude. But yeah, it's that's basically the system. But I think it could be the whole premise of value accrual to social communities led by, an influencer is huge. I mean, like, I've got an idea that I think is literally the best thing that could happen for this whole side of the industry. But I just need to, if there are any devs in the chat capable of building something, let me know. But yeah, on that bombshell, we'll probably just do 6 minutes of Q&A or anything you want, any shitcoins you want me to chart or look at. We'll drop out. Actually, no, we won't. There is one thing that I want to put on your beautiful radar. There's ETH, not that line. Let's just take this out. Yeah, whilst Bitcoin doesn't necessarily look like utter dog shit, to me, if ETH doesn't actually start showing some strength soon, alts are going to be in the fucking bin. Like, that is at a heinous level. Please reclaim 1669. Like, this, not particularly clean, but to me, strong reaction bounce off. Looking at this here, it's kind of ignored it or chopped around it, but yeah, really not looking good breath on ETH, which is, you know, a kind of semi-proxy play for alts. But I always think, why trade ETH when you can trade LDO? Good morning. First big win strategy. The LZ. The LX. We're an absolute mess. Oh, we've talked about it before. Fucking moose, man. Jesus wept. I wonder how much that actually costs to initiate. Same with that. Fuck it must cost pennies to do this shit. Jesus Christ. Absolute mad. I don't really know what you want me to say about this, man. Like, from a higher time frame perspective, right? Like, it doesn't give a fuck about levels because it's so illiquid. It's the same as like Tomo, right? I remember when everyone was like glorifying shorting Tomo, like up here, you've shorted Tomo, I was like, oh, great, and then fucking ripped it in one candle. And that's kind of the same thing. It's like, there will probably be a glorious short on BLZ, Blue Zell. And, you know, actually here, we're seeing that drop off in momentum, I think pretty fucking obviously. Whether it's through the RSI, which, okay, that was a bit janky, but if you can get any form of, there's nothing kind of actionable for me. You've got that classic, just juicing momentum. So if you wanted to get on the short side, like, you'd be pretty ballsy to get on the short side, to be honest. These kind of coins that absolutely squeeze, you know, you're better off just trying to catch one of these stupid longs, IMO. Even now, I'd rather be on that side of it. Wonderful parabolic curve again. Yeah, I find this kind of stuff quite difficult to trade other than just low time frame rotations. So like, I'd literally be on the one, well, I'd probably be on lower time frame than that. I mean, this is epic as fuck. Look at it. Look at all these gaps. Just ugh. What are my long-term plays for next run? Talking about mid and low caps. Oh, they're shared to shareholders. I'm joking. They probably will be, to be fair. But I don't really have huge, like, I'm gonna put huge amounts of my net worth into a single bag. I've talked about areas that I've got conviction in. So genuine revenue sharing mechanisms and products that are strong, being used, have a use, and I can see go bigger and get more adoption, which would mean more revenue growth, which would mean more revenue share to holders or stakers or whatever the process for that revenue share is. You know, that's huge in my opinion. You know, having a slice of a revenue sharing pie is great. That is easy to evaluate, easy to put a number to, and Scam Jab 1337. I think you know. I think you probably know some of my bags. If you're asking that question. So yeah, I don't have anything that I'm like, right, I'm gonna hold this till it's $1 billion market cap, and I'm rarely that convinced of anything, particularly in these conditions. Like I say, I think if you're up 5-10x on a bag, like, great. Look at that. About Rune. See, I love Rune. I've always loved Rune. But I think the big downside of Rune is that it's had its whole price discovery phase, and it's had an absolutely incredible cycle. And for me, think there's going to be better bets out there. Still have a bag of it. I still think it's great. Still think it's wonderful. All the Thor chats are going to kill me. I still have a reasonably sized bag. But I think there's going to be better opportunities. If you're a newer participant in the market and you are looking to grow a portfolio from 5 or 10k to, you know, a few 100,000 or a couple of million, I don't think you're going to do it with Rune. I think if you are, on the other hand, are at a point where you can, you know, swing trade with size and you put a few 100k into something like Rune and just forget about it. I'm not saying do it here, do it now, not at all. But you know, it would be high on my list to do that with as a medium risk gamble / investment. Trying to kind of cater for two types of people, really. The people who actually want the 100x return, yeah, I don't think you'll get it with Rune. But people who are looking for a comfy kind of 5x, I think if we have another cycle, Rune will be one of those reasonably liquid coins where you will actually get it. I don't think it falls out of favour, but I could be wrong. Yeah, the Link Marines all fall the same, but yeah. Unfire Lever and SFP. Oh man, I literally don't trade any of these. I don't think I've got any of them on my watch list. Got Lever. And just like horrible moves. That's a 15-minute chart. 15-minute chart, look at this. I just can't, like, I could come on here and I could just make it do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't like trading charts like that, because if it's so illiquid and it just moves, like, let's say you put $100,000 position on here, right? You're probably going to move price a fair bit, and actually, someone's probably going to see you in the books and actually just slam it down and challenge you quite quickly. Like, it just, it's so exposed. This actually looks pretty reasonable if I turn volume on. Yeah, we've got a little bit more participation. I mean, it's just horrible. Nice rotation in terms of you can play both sides, but yeah, just not interested in that kind of stuff. If you had 5,000, where would you put that for 100,000? My shares. Sorry, keys. No, I'm joking. I'd put that for basically a 20x. I would be looking at low caps, so I would be looking at, you know, maximum. I'd probably be quite risk on. I would be looking at the kind of less than 1 million, maybe less than 5 million these days, market cap projects that are launching, and either, you know, try and get in a pre-sale where you don't have to be an influencer to get in or whatever. It's just a public launch, public pre-sale. You can, you know, spot half an ETH or something and just get in that way, get some discounted tokens, be in it for the long haul, and try and put some bets on projects that haven't had a cycle but are positioned well for the next one. Because I do think there will be another cycle at some point. I don't know if it's 2024, 2026, 2028, 2030. No idea. But I'm pretty sure that we will see an influx into crypto again. Is that after the market does this and then we get, you know, this? God knows. What these bangs in the background, you can have this. Yeah, I would genuinely be trying to find some projects that are interesting, launching, you know, imminently, so that you've kind of got less risk to overall market conditions if you want to see some of that investment back quite quickly, and just look for taking larger positions in higher risk reward projects. Even if like you get Unibot that does this, and then you get a competitor come along and it's at $1 million market cap, now if you're early enough in the narrative, it's worth speculating on, even if it's just, you know, it only does a 2x or something like that compared to Unibot, which might just go like this, right? That's how I'd do it. Low caps and degeneracy. How much percent would you say is healthy to be in spot right now? 0. I'm joking. It's entirely up to you, and it's your risk profile, right? So like my percentage of crypto assets as a percentage of my net worth is low, very low. But like my percentage of crypto that is spot is reasonably high. I mean, I've got a fair bit of on-chain exposure to some low caps. I've got little bits and pieces like just left in wallets of random shit. I've got my trading balance, which is obviously all USDT. Wild looks like GTA built on ETH. Yes, Wild is an incredible project. And yeah, had an incredible cycle, really strong launch. I did very well out of Wild way back in the day. Yeah, it genuinely does look quite good, and the Frank Wilder and all of his gang have actually got a huge Instagram following. Yeah, I do like Wilder World. The only downside with that is it trash. I've not played the game. The big difficulty that most crypto game companies have is that they are competing with the likes of Blizzard and who is it, Valve, and various other professional game makers to basically come into their market. And obviously you get a lot of like Activision people going into crypto and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, it's a difficult market just to jump into, and a lot of gamers are quite resistant to it, quite resistant to crypto bros trying to come in and actually gain a share and just extract money out of that market. Like it's not, you don't necessarily need it. Do you know what I mean? You don't necessarily need crypto to be that facilitator of transactions. Like Steam, as an example, they've got their own marketplace. You stick your credit card in, you buy some stuff, job done. Like, I think if I was starting again, and bearing in mind, guys, like I just when I was in 2018, I did a lot on TradeOga. So 2017 was different, right? 2017 was just everything went up, so there's no credit or kudos for making money there. But when everything started going back down, and I went, right, fuck this, I'm out, and then I'll put money back in, and we'll start this again properly. I did two things. I went to TradeOga, just reviewed absolutely every single coin, and then invested in some of them, and 10, 20x the odd like Bitcoin here and there. I just grew a stack that way, and then I traded, and I learned to trade, and that was a slightly painful process to start off with, in terms of it was very boring compared to this, which was either it went whoosh or it just did nothing, or it literally went like that. So you almost had like instant feedback from the market. So I did that. I did that with TradeOga years ago, and other low caps, not on TradeOga, various other exchanges. But that was kind of what I did. Now it's a lot harder now, obviously, because there's a billion coins being launched every single day. But yeah, low caps are very high risk, so don't be dumb, but very high reward. So you know, if you've got $10,000 and you're putting $250 into a low cap, you know, that's kind of reasonable. If you're putting $10,000 of your $10,000 into one low cap and paying your entire fortune on one coin, you're going to be a genius or an idiot. The difference between the two is measured only by success. Yeah, I've not really looked at Casper, mate. I've seen it. It's Kaz, isn't it? Very strong. But again, let me squint a little bit. Strong market structure, strong move. Absolutely lost that parabola. Like, that's it. Strong move up. Is this consolidation? Don't know. You know, I've got no interest in trying to buy it, but yeah, it's a pretty strong coin. Charlie quotes to live by. Yeah, there's a few of those. With short, I know this is going to sound like an absolute hindsight laugh because it is, but yeah, I would want break a parabola and I would want it to kind of be up here a little bit closer, because otherwise your invalidation looks like utter bullshit. You're basically targeting this for a 1 hour trade, which if fading a very strong coin, probably not going to work out too well. But yeah, obviously that didn't, you know, I would never have picked a top anyway. I would have called that as it starts selling off the other way. I'll wait for confirmation of, you know, move up, because I'll lay a little bit, start moving down. That's where you'll see me. You won't see me. But very rarely will you see me building position up here, unless there's some nice divergences to give me that signal. I think it's, you know, it's too late to short it. I haven't got any reason to long it particularly. No. Yeah, there's not always a trade. That, I think, is half of the problem. People, they don't have the patience. They just want to be in a trade constantly and think, oh, this is what's going to make it. You know, you make more money not being in a trade sometimes, just because you're not fucking losing it because you're bored. But yeah, I think I will leave it there. Love you and leave you all. I hope that stream was reasonably informative. If you've liked and followed the stream and all that kind of wonderful stuff, then I will be doing this more often. I say more often. I just haven't done it for the last week or two because I've been on holiday. And yeah, just hit the subscribe button. I don't even know what it is on Twitch. Follow, whatever. And I will see you at the same time next week. It was insightful. Good. I'm glad. I will peace out with the Charlie theme tune, and we'll go from there. Au revoir.
He's BTC Charlie with his linguini charting. He loses sometimes, but hardly. He's BTC Charlie. But now he's GBP Charlie. It doesn't matter what he's charting. His trading is tough, but it's not all that bad with Charlie. He's got memes in the morning and more in the evening. It's Charlie. And when trading gets hard and support starts to lean, search Charlie.